Gets back here, we're gonna start with the first video. It's like a little three-minute video, and then I'm gonna talk about all the places we can get business from. All right, you can start whenever you're ready. All right, here we go, people.
My big thing is that people's fears are predicated on other people. You're allowing other people's opinions to dictate your life. Letting somebody else dictate your life is immediate unhappiness. You're not in control. There is nothing more difficult than navigating your life based on somebody else's opinion. You actually care about what your dad or mom or grandma or husband or wife or daughter or son is going to say about you if you do this thing. It doesn't matter what they think. When you're fucking 92 and you're sitting here, you're not going to give a shit about what Punk Man 96 had to say, or even what your aunt had to say, who's miserable because she never got hers, so she's trying to keep you down. Negative people latch on to positive people and try to seclude them from the world because that's their energy. In work, I see it every day. In life, I see it every day. It's just what it is. I hate how many people judge other people without having all the context. Every time you fucking judge, you make yourself 99.9% of people that you judge or have opinions on, you have no idea what is actually happening in lives. Like, you don't fucking know what's going on in somebody's fucking home. Everybody sucks at something, right? Like, we all have shortcomings. And for me, it's like, why don't we just audit that? Like, why don't we just look at it that way and be like, all right, well, I'm good at this, but I'm not good at that. Like, everybody's so absent. Are you really not gonna live your life based on somebody's anonymous fucking icon feedback that you suck? They fucking suck. Go do your thing. Don't listen to anybody but what's in your fucking mind and your fucking heart, and not living life where you allow other people's judgment to dictate your behavior. You're letting your homie or your aunt or somebody else shit on you and go in your head and then think you're shitting on yourself. You're valuing somebody else's opinion too much. So many of you are going to be resentful and blame somebody else besides yourself. It's your fault that you're not doing your thing. And so the reason I think it's happening is the judgment of others. It's the same shit from 4th and 5th grade that we developed. This is very complicated, but unbelievably simple. You're worried about what other people think. You give up on that shit and you're clean and you can go. And all of a sudden, it's not how much money you have, how much time you have. You just see that you can do it. Money ain't time ain't shit of holding you back compared to your worry about other people's opinion. Do you know what it's like to be in your own head and nothing else matters? Do you know what it feels like to give a shit so much about what everybody thinks, yet not care at all? Do you know that when I leave here, I'm gonna look at every single tweet about this talk, and if somebody says, I'm gonna be devastated like I fucking died, yet equally don't give a fuck? When you can get to that place, amazing shit happens. You know why? Because you stop being scared. And I want that for every fucking person, because let me tell you something, it fucking is the best. You only have one life, and it's much better to live it for yourself than somebody else. Or you truly do it. That's it, baby.
Okay, so I really hope nobody got offended with all the F-bombs and swear words that Gary Vaynerchuk does, because that's just what Gary Vaynerchuk is. And I really hope you can look past that and see what the meaning is behind what he was really saying, because what he's saying affects everybody on this planet, including myself. And if you think it doesn't affect you, then you're just lying. You're just lying. You value the opinion of what other people think. If you don't value a lot of what other people think, there is somebody that you value their opinion of. And a lot of that will dictate and shape what you do in your business and in your life. And we're going to talk about that, because a lot of us are not where we want to be, because we're not doing all the things at the level that it needs to be done. And we take the information that's around us and the value judgments of people around us, and we shape that into our reality when none of it matters. None of it matters. And what really matters is your goal and what you need to do today to get to that goal. So if you are not where you want to be today in your business or in your life, there is a goal in what you want out there and it's 100% achievable no matter what. And we're going to talk about that. So there's, when it comes to, I mean, just business in general, there's really 4 places where you can get business from. And we're going to talk about the best way to get there. And so the number one is people you know. So the best place to find people you know is open your phone, get your phone, go to your contacts, and no, not pulling up Amazon, I'm pulling up contacts, pull up my contacts, and literally start at number one. Start at number one and just start calling and talking to everybody that you need to. Sorry, I'm getting text messages while I'm doing this. So you start in your contacts list. These are people you know. You may know them very well. You may know them a little bit. You may go, who is this weird person in my contacts? I've never seen that number before. At the end of the day, they made it into your phone in some way, shape, or form. So there's ways to have conversations with everybody that's in your contact list. Will you do that? I know people. So one of my coaching clients that I sat down with, and he'd been a mediocrely successful real estate agent, never done anything amazing, has always come close to hitting 6 figures. And his own limiting belief was the boundaries he put around what he did. I can't do this because, I can't talk to this person because. And so I said, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go back to the beginning of your real estate career and talk to that first person that you did a deal with. Tell me about that. And he's like, well, that didn't go really well. I was really new. I didn't know what I was doing. And it was real. They were not happy with me in the end. And we have not talked since. I said, okay, great. Call him. And he was like, I don't know. I don't want to call him, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, this is how you have that conversation. I said, you have to own and take responsibility for the situation that happened. Whatever that situation is, you call him and go, hey, this is so-and-so. I just wanted to call because I haven't talked to you in a really long time. Last time we talked, you closed that deal. I just want to call and see how you're doing, whatever. And I didn't think he was going to do it. He came in a week later and he actually did it. He actually did it. And he said the conversation, the guy confronted him and said, listen, the situation didn't go well. And I wasn't really happy. And my coaching client did exactly what I told him to do. He took responsibility. He said, I'm really sorry. It's really my fault. And he explained why. And at the end of the conversation, the guy asked him to help him find commercial real estate space. So he ended up mending that relationship. But the reason that he hadn't called that guy in 5 years was because he created a story around that situation and put boundaries up on the limitations of his business. And you hear me talk in my team meetings on, it's not what you're going to do. It's what are you willing to do? And are you willing to go through everybody in your phone that is in your contact list, in your database, and have a real conversation with them, every single one of them? So people you know, this is, real estate wise, it's called SOI. And then from the last training that we had, we know that our SOI is our family, it's our best friends, it's our network, it's our community, it's our audience, and it's strangers. Strangers are on the outside. I don't necessarily call them SOI, but that's where everybody wants to get their business from. So that's number one, people you know. Literally talk to everybody you know. Number two, this is strangers. Strangers. So this is, if it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, real estate or whatever. So strangers this is like expired lists. Expired lists. This is circle prospecting. NODs. Anybody you don't know, like that's under category number 2. So you can talk to all of these people, and then you can go after and talk to all of these people. Number 3.
What was NOD?
Notice of default,
And
like foreclosures.
and circle.
Circle prospecting. So sorry, I'm just going on. I'm expecting everybody to know. Circle prospecting is like, let's say we have a sale in Westwood. And then what we do is we pull however many, 100, 1,000 phone numbers or addresses from around that sale. And we call those people. And those are all people we wouldn't know. So, there's more of a list here, like they're door knocking, that's, You go door knock an area you've never been to before, that would be considered, strangers. Number 3 is content. Content is social media, it's blogging. It could be considered email, I think, but I think maybe that's on the fringe. But content is, this is where I think everybody messes up with content, is they just post. Just posting is literally push marketing. Push marketing is considered if I mail a postcard to you. If I mail a postcard to you, you're gonna get the postcard and it's gonna go in the trash. The postcard is very similar to just like, it's very few people I know have ever gotten business off of postcard. It happens, it has happened. In today's world, I don't know how much that happens, and I don't actually see a lot of postcards. I mean, Tracy gets our mail most of the time. I can't remember the last time I saw a real estate postcard in our mail. When's the last time you saw one, Tracy? I don't even remember. It's been years.
We get more people that drop stuff off at our front door than we do in the mail.
Yeah. So so like, but everything you post, like if you take a picture, you take a GIF, you post that on social media, that's push marketing. The better part of it is don't abandon push marketing, but commenting, liking, sharing. You want people to like, comment, and share your stuff, you kind of have to do the same thing to other people's stuff. You can't just expect it or want other people to do it. DMing. Direct message. So the really cool thing that I like about Facebook is, like, you know, I always joke around, like, if you went door knocking in a neighborhood, wouldn't it be cool if there was a green light above everybody's house and you knew they were home? In reality, that's what happens on Facebook. People are on there and you can literally jump on there and just start engaging in conversation. It doesn't matter how well you know them. If you don't know them very well, that's an opportunity to get to know them better. So liking, sharing, and commenting, and then at the very, 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 very bottom is posting. Posting is you post something, whether it's a video, whether it's a GIF, whether it's a letter, and you're hoping someone sees it and someone responds to it. So if you post something and like, man, I only got like 5 likes or only got like 10 views, that's like the power of prayer. Like, you're hoping that people see it, when in actuality, what you can do is you can post that video and then you can DM it to people. You can share it with people. You can tag people in it. There's so many different things you can do. We limit ourselves in business as far as what we do. And a lot of times people will post things or not post things on social media based on what people think. They're like, well, you know, I don't want to be too aggressive. I don't want to post too much. Who says it's too much? Like, who says it's too much? It's like we all have our own boundaries inside of our own head and what we think is a lot, what we think people won't like. I remember when I first started in real estate, people would tell me, I don't want to go door knock at like 6 o'clock. And I'm like, why? They're like, you know, people are eating dinner. I'm like, how do you know people are eating dinner at 6 o'clock? There's like 35 million people in this area of Los Angeles. How do you know they're all eating dinner at 6 o'clock? What, like, and I always joked around. I'm like, I was a single dad for a really long time, and like, I'd have 3 or 4 different sports going on at one time. Like, I would eat dinner until like 9 o'clock at night sometimes. So you create your business and your mindset based on what you think. Don't base it on what other people think. So that's number 4. Number 4 is paid. Paid is literally paid. It is paid social media marketing, paid email marketing, paid anything that you have to do to put your content out and have it paid for. So if you're like, I do all of these things, the big question that I want you to, so what's your goal? What's your goal in the next 12 months? We're literally in January and December. If your goal is $180,000, I can almost count on a hand how many people I personally know that have made that last year. If you want $180,000, that is, so an average commission in my office is like 20K. That is, less than 10 deals. That's 9 deals. That's 9 deals. So that's even putting the average sale just under where our average is like 1.2, 1.3 in our office. So that's putting the average under what it is in our office. So that's 9 deals. That's not even a deal a month. So my question to you, based on what we're talking about here, is how quickly do you want to get there? Now, the analogy that I like to make is that if we were going to go to Vegas, so I know Sean's on here. So if Sean and I want to go to Vegas, how do we want to get there as fast as possible? Or do you want to get there as slow as possible? So 180,000 is Vegas. How fast do you want to get there? Anybody? Fast?
Fast.
Or do you want to take your time? There's no rush. It's up to you.
Fast.
Do you want to get there fast?
Fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to get there fast, would you go buy a bus ticket on a bus, a Greyhound bus? Do they even do those anymore? I am totally dating myself, I think. I used to take a Greyhound bus from Vegas to San Francisco to see my aunt when I was like 10, so that's where that's coming from.
Maybe there are private tours. they do.
Right. All right, it's perfect. So you buy a bus ticket. So you actually have to go online or you go down to the bus station and you purchase a ticket. After you're sitting there and you're like, I want to get there as fast as I possibly can go. So let's go find a bus tour. So you're gonna go online, you're gonna find the bus tour, you're gonna go buy the bus ticket, and then the bus tour is like, we're gonna stop on the way to Vegas at every amazing food place, every restaurant, and every tourist destination on the way. I think there's like 2 tourist destinations that I'm aware of. And there's probably like 3 or 4 cities in between. Like you gotta go through Victorville, you gotta go through Barstow, you gotta go through where? Outlets, right? Gotta stop at the outlets. Gotta stop at the outlets. You're gonna get that deal, right? So you're gonna make like, I'm gonna say off the top of my head, 4 stops. Gotta get gas because you're stopping, you're doing a lot, you gotta eat. So how long do you think that's gonna take you to get there?
The way you described it, 8 hours.
8 hours, I'm gonna say 6 to 8 hours. Okay. So in my mind, I'm from Vegas. I know what's in Vegas. I want to get there as fast as possible. So this is getting a bus ticket, getting on a bus, stopping at all the little tourist traps and all the food on the way there. It's gonna take me 6 to 8 hours. If I want to go to Vegas and I want to get there as fast as I possibly can, I'm going to go to the rent-a-car place and I'm going to rent the fastest car that I can possibly find. And I'm going to find the shortest route that I can possibly find and I'm going to floor it. I'm going to put the pedal to the metal, floor it, and get there as fast as possible. What's the fast time to get to Vegas?
4 to 5 hours.
4 to 5? What kind of car are you driving?
I mean,
I'm at 3.5 hours. I'm gonna say 3.5. 3.5 hours.
I make the ticket.
If nobody's around.
If nobody's around, right? So that being said, like, I'm gonna pick a day where there's no traffic. Like, I'm gonna go on a Sunday because going to Vegas on a Sunday is probably gonna be less traffic than leaving Vegas on a Sunday, right? So trust me, I got caught in that traffic. Getting back was like 6 to 8 hours. So that's what this is. You get a choice. So you're going to call, let's say, 10 people a day here. 10 people a day here. You're gonna talk to 10 strangers. You're gonna post 5 times on social media, and then you don't have any money, so you're not gonna do any paid ads. Is what I just described the slow way or the fast way to get to Vegas if you were doing your business?
I'm sorry.
That's the slow way. It's not a trick. All right, so. And I mean, slow and fast is like, what's the urgency of your business? Like, how quickly do you need to make $180,000? First of all, is it possible to do that? Is 100% possible to do that? It's only 9 deals. 9 deals. You know what? Let's just round up for fun. 10 deals. 10 deals. So you have SOI, people you know. You have strangers. You have content. You have paid. So in my mind, the best way that I know to get leads in real estate, I learned from Keller Williams, and it's called Bold. And everybody that went to Bold, they saw the Bold 100, right? So you have the Bold 100, which is you have to contact and have a real estate conversation with 100 people in one day, and you get like this little pin. They actually made the pin smaller, which I think is kind of a jip, but I have one in my office. I have one in my office because my wife did it. I did not do it. It's a little pin because you contacted 100 people in one day. And so what I did in my mind, I'm like, well, that has got to be one of the fastest ways. So contacting 100 people in one day. You can contact 100 strangers in one day, and you can post 100 pieces of content in one day. Does that seem like a lot? It does, because our frame of reference is built around something we already have. We already have a limiting belief on what is possible based on what you've done. Now, if you've done something less than this and it is not, has it worked? Is it working? Is what you're doing actually working right now? If you're not here and you want to get here as fast as you possibly can, why would you not do 100, 100, and 100? And then you just like, if you have the money, $100 a day, $100 a month.
Can I be real with you, Frank?
You can be real with me.
So you're saying that, and maybe 100 just is a number you picked out of the air. I don't know, but
Well, it's because of Bold. It's so Bold, they have the Bold 100. And I know from.
yeah, I did it 7.5 hours on a dialer. I did 100 contacts. It took me 7.5 hours.
Okay.
So how am I supposed to do that and make 100 pieces of content?
Well, so it's called time management. So, I mean, so it comes down to, you know, how important is the task of you getting to $180,000 in the next 12 months? And so like so Tracy did the Bold 100, and she kind of, you know, changed my mind on how I thought about it, because I came home, she was sitting on the couch, like vigorously typing on her phone. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm doing the Bold 100. I'm like, what do you mean you're doing the Bold 100? She's like, yeah, I'm texting 100 people. I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm like at 120 and this many people replied and this and that. And it took her like 5 to 6 hours. Tracy, if I'm wrong in any of this, please correct me. It took her like 5 to 6 hours. She contacted 100 people and she got 6 leads. So that's 5 or 6 hours. So you have 24 hours in a day. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So let's say you sleep 6 hours. You have the rest of the day to get to where you need to go.
I have a
The
question.
Yes,
Maybe I missed it, but you said we have to do 100 posts a week?
A day.
okay.
100 posts on social media a day?
Content. So if you go back to the thing I had about content, you can contact 100 people in DMs, you can share, you can like, you can comment, you can post. There's a lot of different things you can do. I bet that if you took 2 hours out of your day, you could probably put up 100 pieces of content. This isn't, Tracy, what you do is like the videos and all that stuff. I'm not talking about like mapping and framing out a video and doing the video. I'm talking about going in there and like connecting with 100 people on a daily basis. Does that make sense?
Okay, now it does, because it did.
Yeah.
I think maybe we both misunderstood you.
Well, that's what I did before, is I went through the content, all the things you could do. Like the
Yeah,
last thing was
Liking,
posting.
commenting,
Yeah. Yeah. But this is like, I have to do this now. Like, this is like super important. I have to do this right now. It's like, it's urgent. You're trying to get here as quickly as possible. So like 100, 100, 100. So like, and then the paid content is you could take something that you posted with the content and pay for it and boost it with $100 somewhere. So it's just basically how quickly do you want to get there and how much content are you putting out now versus what this is. If you did this, like let's say you did this 75% of all of this, how quickly do you think you could get to somebody that's wanting to buy or sell? Or get somebody that's going to refer you business? The refer part is the key. Refer is like the big thing, because most people you talk to, they're not ready to buy or sell right now. You just have to figure out where they're at in the process. The key is to talk to enough people so when somebody says to them, I'm thinking about buying or selling, they're like, I gotta talk to you. Who do I talk to? And they refer you business. That's where a bulk of our business comes from, and that's where a bulk of most real estate agents' business come from, is the refer part. It's just that we all screw it up. Like, we talk to people hoping to get a deal from the person we're talking to, not nurturing that relationship to get business to somebody that they're talking to that you don't know. That's the key. That's the secret. So this is hard. Like, I'm not gonna say like, just do this, it's super easy. It's not. This is hard. But it all comes back to the question, how quickly do you need to get there? Maybe you don't have to get there that quickly. Maybe you're good. Maybe you're okay. But if you're like, holy crap, I have to get there really fast. I have to get to Vegas right now. Like, maybe you can't afford the sports car that's going to get you there as fast, so you have to get a lower sports car. So like I said, maybe you can't afford the pay. Like, I get it. So now you have this. You have a family and you have kids, and you have different things. So like, okay, I'm gonna do 50 strangers today. I'm gonna do 50 pieces of content today. But just know that's not the fastest. You're dialing things back based on your current situation. So I'm just giving you the fastest possible way. And this is based on really, like, my wife, when I saw her texting people the bold 100 on the couch, it's like the bold 100 is 100 contacts you have to talk to a day about real estate. And she got 6 leads. So if she did that in one day, he did that every day. First of all, again, it's hard, but would she get business? She would absolutely get business. And people do get business. And there's people in bold that did it multiple times and got multiple pieces of business. But we have boundaries set on what we think we can do and what is actually possible. And then we create expectations around, we should be getting there, because when, you know, you're contacting, like, the minimum when I coach agents one-on-one is 25 contacts a day. 25 real contacts a day, where you take that information of that conversation, you put it in your database, and you put a follow-up plan based on that person. So you don't have to go searching for what to do in your database. You actually open your database and your database tells you what to do. And then you have to have 25 per day. In my mind, that's gonna get you to $200,000 to $100,000 in the next 12 months. But you have to have the right conversations and you have to follow up properly. The follow-up is the key. If you just talk to one person, if you talk to 100 strangers a day and then you just never talk to any of those people again, you talk to 100 strangers, you're gonna get somebody in there that you actually have a conversation that you're gonna need to follow up with. Well, then those people automatically go in here, because now those are people you know. The same with the content. You're gonna connect with somebody here that's in this category, and they're gonna go into this category. And you're gonna do a paid ad, and somebody's gonna respond to your paid ad, and they're gonna go back into this category. So this number, if you have 300 people here, it's going to just grow and go up. Because if you don't grow your sphere of influence, it'll just naturally regress and get smaller and smaller and smaller, and so will your business. So the goal is to put everybody in the sphere of influence and to talk to these people as aggressively and frequently as you possibly can. Does that make sense? Sean, you got questions for me? I know you do.
No, I just I'm doing all 4 of the quadrants that you just laid out there. I've got paid ads running. I'm reaching out to my sphere. I'm making content for YouTube and trying to do more on social. And you know, social's been a challenge for me.
Mhm.
And then, so as far as talking to strangers, I think I think what you're saying is the leads that are generated on Facebook by those paid ads, those are the strangers you're talking to.
Mhm.
And I've been sending you my activity. I mean, you can see it's a challenge to talk to 10 people. I mean, with, you know, everything else that happens throughout the day.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so I don't, so the question I would have for you that I haven't had with you yet is, I would want better notes on those contacts, because some of them I don't understand and they're kind of like short form notes.
Yeah, like,
And
what do you mean, for example, like if it says FB,
so like the one you
that's
sent me today, it said DB, which I mean database, and then the first
Database.
one on the top line said something and I don't know what it said.
the one I sent you today. Let me look.
Yeah.
But I would challenge everybody in here to track your numbers
Yeah,
and send it as an accountability, because I tell my team, if I don't see a lead generation sheet from you, it's like you didn't work that day.
right, and the truth is, you probably didn't,
Right.
you know,
You
it's
might have worked
super
on your
easy to let-
website, you might have.
You're right. It's super easy to let life get a hold of you and then things happen.
Op City, it said Op City at the top. That lead was an Op City lead.
Okay, so when you track your leads, what I would want to do is like, what was the conversation that was had? And what's, and when are you following up next? Like,
I put that all in my database.
okay. Okay, so what I do with people when they cold call, like if I have somebody cold calling or making phone calls and they've done so many calls, like I'd say if you do more than 100 calls and you don't have a response or you don't have anything tangible as far as a lead goes, I want to see what you're saying. What are you saying to these people? So like with you, like your paid ads and your content strategy and what you're saying to the strangers in your SOI, like if you don't have anything happening with them, like I want to go through what are you saying and how are you saying it? Because we get in our head of what the things we're quote unquote supposed to do. And so as far as content strategy, I would back off everything except for things you can actually have conversations with. Like YouTube is great. I love YouTube. I think YouTube is an amazing strategy, but if you're not getting anything from it right now, I would focus on trying to have conversations with people on other forms of social media because YouTube's push marketing. So you're pushing stuff out there and you're hoping people watch, you're hoping people subscribe, you're hoping people respond if you have a call to action, you just hope. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's at a different level when it comes to marketing. When you are at ground zero, and that's kind of where this conversation is. I know not everybody here is on ground zero, but if you're at ground zero and you're looking for that next lead, the best way to get the next lead is to have real conversations with people. And the more of those that you can do, that's where your business is going to grow. So you have to figure out where to do that. Is your audience on Facebook? Is it on Instagram? Where is it at? It's probably not on TikTok. It's probably not on YouTube. It's probably on Facebook. There's most of your people, especially with my age demographic, I'm in my 50s. Most of us are on Facebook. Most people are on Facebook. If you're coming across people in your database and you have no social media information on them at all, call them up and ask them what they're on, or search for them and find them. Start having conversations with them. It's literally the one-to-one conversation that's going. I mean, we're looking at 9 deals, nine deals. It's not even a deal a month. So you have 30 days to figure out how to get one deal. And the way you do that is you have to have more conversations than you're comfortable with and more conversations than you've had before. And you have to put yourself in a place that makes you uncomfortable. It's frequency and aggression. And aggression sounds like, yep, go ahead.
So I use Spokeo and Forewarn. So every time and I call it part of my triage process. So when I'm making that phone call to my sphere of influence or to the Facebook lead, while I'm in there, I'm making notes of what I did. I'm scheduling my follow-up call. I'm making the call. I'm using the click to call feature. So if I do have a call, it's being recorded inside of my CRM. I'm on Spokeo searching the email address, looking for the Facebook profile, the LinkedIn profile, the Instagram profile on the online search. And then I also use the phone number on Forewarn to find their physical address so I could send them a note card like we were talking about. I don't even know how I'm going to add that into my routine, but it's just I haven't done it yet. The note cards.
Did you steal the Spokeo idea from your wife? I think you did.
No, I got it off of Catfish. You remember that TV show Catfish?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they use to track people down.
So that's great. I think all that stuff is great. It feels like a lot of work to me.
It is a lot of work. It slows me down.
That's fine. But slow's not bad. And I think that's something I was thinking about before this class is that we all as real estate agents, I have no idea where it came from. But like there's this whole idea of mass marketing. Like we want to do mass marketing because we have some weird idea that that's going to get us business faster, and it doesn't. We take this huge big net in the ocean and we throw it out into the ocean, and we think that it's gonna land in the ocean and bring back all these fish, but what happens? And tell me if I'm wrong, Sean, you throw out this net and all the fish run. It hits the ocean, you pull it back and there's nothing there. That's the mass marketing aspect in real estate. That's what I'm seeing from everybody. I don't know one person right now that's doing quote unquote mass marketing and making any money from it.
That's
It's-
that's what it feels like. But I look at the YouTube channel as kind of like farming. I mean, I'm not expecting a payoff right away. It could happen. I mean, you know, the Levi Lassick strategy is what I'm referring to. Vlogging and building people. I know people here in LA that have started a channel within a few months. They got a transaction out of it. 10 months, 11 months, 12 months in, they've got, you know, 5, 6, 7 transactions out of it in the first year.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody's gonna be different. Like, I know a bunch of people that have started YouTube channel and got nothing from it.
Right.
You know, so I think that the best way, if you're trying to get, so the great thing about real estate today is that the average sale price is around $1 million and the average commission check is around $25,000. So $25,000, you know, times 9 is going to get you more than $100,000, almost $200,000 in the next 12 months. So when I started in real estate, and I think Sean started at the same time as me, like the average sale price was like $325,000. Like it took like almost 3 times as many transactions to get to this number. And today it's smaller, but the big difference is the amount of work that it takes to get the next transaction, not your first transaction, just in general, the next transaction is a monumental amount of work that we in our mind think should be easier. And that's where we screw ourselves up, is we have an expectation of how hard it's supposed to be. In reality, it's as hard as it's gonna be. It's as hard as it is. And when you work your butt off and you talk to enough people, a deal will come. And if you're talking to a bunch of people and the deal's not coming, that's because you haven't talked to enough people. And so like, just using Sean, because you and I are talking, it's like, I would want to see when you're calling all those people, you're doing the Spokio thing, you're looking up their address and all that, what are you saying when you get them on the phone? Like, what's the conversation? You know, and then we start like getting micro weird about having the conversations, how to tweak the conversations, how to end the conversation, how to start the conversation, all these little things to just tweak it, because at the end of the day, you want everybody to be in your SOI. And sometimes it's really hard, like 10% of the people you talk to that are strangers, you'll probably maybe get into your SOI. And I think that's being generous. Content is probably lower than that. Paid advertising is lower than that. That's why you have to do them at scale. Like if you're just gonna do $10 a day, you're not gonna get anywhere. I heard of this marketing guy was talking about how he was working his business, and he talked to this one guy. He says, yeah, I do flyers. I just, I get business from, dropping flyers, all the time. And so this guy did a bunch of flyers, and he came back and he's like, I didn't get nothing. Like it didn't work. He's like, how many did you do? He's like, I did 500. He goes, I don't do anything less than 5,000 to test.
Yeah.
And then once it hits 5,000, I do 10,000. And it kind of blew his mind. And so when I went back to, like, I do $10 a day in marketing, and that's a test. That's to see if, am I gonna get anything? Am I gonna get any track? Do I see anything here? And then it scales up, because if I got, let's say I got one deal from $10 of advertising. If you got one deal from $10 of advertising, why would you not put $1,000 into it?
I'm spending $800-900 a month.
Huh?
I'm spending $800-900 a month.
And what are you getting from that?
We're not closing. I mean, we're getting a lot of leads, but again, it's like getting people to do anything has been the challenge.
So when you say you get a lead, what's a lead?
We get a lead from Facebook or Instagram. That's where we're spending the money, $800-900 a month.
Right, but when you say that's a lead from Instagram or Facebook, what does that look like? What would be considered?
We have 2 types of ads running right now. We have one where they're scheduling appointments. They go into a funnel and they're scheduling appointments, occasionally, and they're not showing up for the appointments that they schedule. We have an ISA
Right.
calling those leads. And then I'm spending about probably 75% of my spend is that type of lead. And then the other 25% is just straight Facebook advertising around a listing, around a property. So we're getting opt-ins with name, phone number, and email, and I'm doing that same triage process to those leads. So the ones that we find we get bad phone numbers, we generally find a good phone number for them.
So if you, let's say you're spending $900 a month, and let's say you get one closing from that. Are you prepared to spend $10,000 a month after on that same strategy because you got one deal? Are you ready to do that?
Sure, yeah. I
Okay,
can't call all the leads. The leads that I'm generating on the $800-900 a month are too many leads for me to personally call myself. I've got a team of say 3 that are actively calling.
so the answer I was looking for was no, I'm not prepared to spend $10,000 a month, because if you asked me that question, I'd be like, no, I don't have $10,000 to spend in marketing, because that's way too much money. And for me, it would be reverse. I would spend like anywhere between $20 to $100 a month in preparing myself to spend $1,000 to $5,000 a month. And I think you're pushing a lot of activities out there and you're not getting your return back. So you're spending like $900 a month and you're not getting a return on that. That's what it sounds like.
Right.
Am I
100%.
So, and I think and with all due respect, you're leveraging yourself too soon because you're having people do things for you. And I don't think you know the conversations that are being had or what's exactly happening on there, because I know I've paid for people. I've spent so much money on people calling for me and they just don't say or do the right thing. So what I would say is you dial it back to you and then start scaling from there, because take what you're doing and you do it instead of pay somebody else to do it until you get that first deal. And then you say, okay, what did I do to get that first deal? And then you start scaling it from there, because I feel like you're trying to duplicate yourself before you actually have a return on investment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, like you and I have had this conversation. I'm trying to get to the place where it's not all about me doing it only. It's about us doing it, we doing it. I'm not trying
But
to
you're
get
trying to scale before that, though. You're trying to scale before you have the results. You're trying to scale to get the results. And I don't feel like that it works that way. I haven't seen it work that way. Does that make sense?
I do it for many years, and then I went to we do it, and I've never got to they do it.
Right. Well, and this is probably like a really, really bigger conversation to have. It's not a conversation to have on here. So when you go from you do it, because I know when you did it, you crushed it. You did amazing. And then now you're going to they do it. There's a gap there somewhere. There's a gap that needs to be filled that I think needs to be found. And I think that most agents start off with never selling a house and they want to go straight to they do it, or straight to we do it, or straight to something to where it's like more of a mass thing, to where they're trying to leverage themselves right away and not figure out what the process is in the beginning to get that first deal. Because most people have this, like I have so many agents come to me and they're like, well, I need leads. And they immediately want to call expired leads, or they immediately want to call people who are Russian that I've never talked to before. Just saying. And it's like you're literally walking into the gym and trying to lift 1,000-pound dumbbell when you've never been to the gym before. And so you have to start off with like maybe you got to start off with 20-pound weights. In some cases that might be heavy. And so you have to figure out how to get that first deal and what worked and how is that going to work best. And then you can start scaling from there. So like if I spend $100 and I got one deal, why would you not spend $1,000 to get 10? So it comes back to 100. Like if you're doing 100 and all of those things, you're going to get a deal. But this is number one. Number one, if you're doing 10 different things and you're not getting any results, you've got to start with one and not the 10. And the one is this: the people you already know. Those are people you know. If they want to support you and help you, why would you not have that conversation with like, hey, real estate's tough, like help me out. You don't have to say that, but like create a conversation around what's going on in real estate. And if they know you, like you, and trust you, they will work with you. You just have to have more of these conversations. And when you start doing 10 different things, that's what they call spreading yourself too thin. Because what'll happen is that there's deals out here waiting for you. This is guaranteed. The sphere of influence is guaranteed. There is deals here waiting for you. If you're trying to do 9 other things, including this thing, those 9 other things that you could be doing, when you could be doing those 9 other things right here, you're missing a deal. Yes.
What do you think of door hanger?
Are you scared to talk to people?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, door hangers are great, but it's just like a postcard. It's just like a door drop here. So again, the real estate industry is making us afraid to talk to people and do things to where we want to do something and then have it come back. Like, I want to do that, and then a deal's going to call me, right?
Right.
I'm going to mail something and somebody's going to call me. We want the phone to ring without us really doing anything, instead of us making other people's phones ring. That's the biggest problem, is that, we can bring our title rep in here right now. He'll give us flyers, like Escrow give us flyers. They'll help us with social media. They help us with all this stuff to push things out. You've been to the team meetings. How many times have I said, $2 million, Beverly Hills, where did that deal come from? How many people raised their hand and said, door flyer?
No.
None. How many people said, door knocking? None.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I don't remember anybody saying it. Or I mailed a postcard and they called me. Right? It's all been sphere of influence. I knew them. I knew a friend of theirs. Like, I say it's like in the 90 percentile, but honestly, it's like almost 100%. It's so close to 100% to where it's somebody that you knew. We have like $20 million in sales in the last couple of months, and it's every one of them is from somebody that somebody knew. Not from some random postcard, random social media post, random anything. It's all been from sphere of influence. So, I mean, we can argue mojo dialer, cold calling, door drops. We can argue all of that stuff. But when the numbers show up, and this is out here in LA. I've run offices in Santa Clarita. I've run offices in Porter Ranch. I've run offices in Bakersfield. I run the office in Bakersfield right now. It's still all the same numbers. It's not like magical that it happens different somewhere else. It's all the same. And I think we have to get out of, and that's why I ran the Gary Vaynerchuk video in the beginning, because we do things because we're afraid to talk to people. We're afraid of what people will say to us when we do certain things. We're afraid of judgment. Most people will not post 100 times do 100 things on social media. They will not like, comment, DM. They will not do that because they're afraid of what somebody else is going to think or say. The influencers that are out there right now, a lot of them are influencers because they just don't give a crap. They're just going to do what they want to do.
Did you like my story with?
I like your story with the shark. That was good. I like the shark. I like sharks a lot. That was really cool. And you know what? You're doing a great job and you should keep it up, but you should do these other things as well. The videos, the YouTubes, the TikToks, those are all accoutrements. You guys know what an accoutrement is? It's like the potatoes to the steak. Like, the potatoes are great, but you don't go to the restaurant to order the potatoes. You go to order the steak. So it's a side dish. You can take it or leave it. Like, as long as the steak is amazing, I can give a crap about the potatoes. So, does the potatoes help the steak taste better? Absolutely. But it's all about the steak. The steak is your sphere of influence and the people you know. And I guarantee you, there's not one person on this planet that I cannot probably go into your contacts and find somebody that you have not talked to yet, and there's probably a story around that. And that's a story you created. You created the story on why you don't want to talk to that person, because guess what? That person has a different story of why they're not talking to you. And they probably blame you for it. What were you gonna say, Sean?
Just coughing.
Okay, hacking over there. So I mean, that's really the thing. And so, like, a lot of what I do as a team leader and a coach is it's therapy. So, like, if you guys have issues around talking to people or doing anything that I'm saying here, let's talk about it. Listen, like I said, 100 is a guideline. It's you don't have to do 100. I'm trying to get you to 180,000 as fast as we possibly can get there. And so my strategy is 100, because I know if you talk to 100 people a day, because guess what? average person knows about 300 people. You talk to 100 people a day, first of all, you're not gonna get all 100 on the phone. And then it's gonna take, say, a week to actually aggressively talk to all these people, then you're gonna run out of people. So now what do? Well, you'll probably get something if you do that. So you'll be tied up dealing with that. And then you have to go find more people. And you talk to, so I'm gonna call crazy out here because we sat on the couch the other day, we're like, how can we add more people to our database? Because we're on this thing to aggressively adding to our database. And I'm like, we're talking about dry cleaning. I'm like, well, let's go talk to our dry cleaner. Let's go talk to our dog groomer. And Tracy's like, well, when I call the dog groomer, it's a different person every time. I said, okay, let's figure out who the owner of the dog groomer company is, and then we'll talk to all those people, other people too. It's like, we started like really getting granular and nitpicky about who we talk to, and then we're taking all those people and putting them in our database. There's opportunities everywhere. We just choose to look at them or not look at them. One of our team members was in the office last week, and I had a similar conversation to this. She came back and she's like, I just went and got the security guard's contact information. I have the security guard in my database now. The security guard that's out there. Dude looks like he's 18, like he can't even buy a house. But will he? Ever? Why would you not put him in your database? She's like, I think he thought I was hitting on him.
Oh,
I'm like, maybe, but that's not the point. He can think whatever he wants to think. Your person on the other side, it doesn't matter what they think. That's the whole part of the Gary Vaynerchuk
I'm
deal.
listening, Frank.
Oh, Lisa,
I'm
there you are.
listening, Frank.
I didn't know if it was on here.
we should.
I heard
And well,
that.
I know that's exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Absolutely. But
I almost got a date out of it too, so.
That's hilarious. That's funny. But most people, like Lisa's, you're from Indiana, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Lisa's from Indiana. She just came out here for this month. Are you here still or did you leave?
No, I'm gone.
Okay. But she comes out here every now and then. And everybody in this office is always here. It took her coming from Indiana to go out there to get his information. And now she's gonna go back to Indiana with somebody's information from this building that nobody else has tried to get. And the reason is because we give a crap about what other people think, or we create an outcome of a situation that may or may not be true. Now, keep in mind, all of this is levels of fear. And if you're like, oh, I'm not scared of anything, that's not true. We're all scared of something, and there's different levels to fear. Like there's the fun level, like I'm gonna get on the roller coaster, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I really hope I don't die. You know you're probably not gonna die. But there's still a level of fear, it's just different. And so we create that around the things that we wanna do because we don't know how that person's gonna react. So you have to get past that. And you have to start in one place and not like, this is called focus right here. Like if I had a little leaf and I had a magnifying glass with the sun and I focused it right here, I would burn that leaf, right? But if I was trying to burn all of these dots with one little stream of sunlight, could I do that? Because I'd be taking the sunlight going from here to here, here, trying to burn them all at the same time. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's focus. The lack of focus is crushing your business. Yes.
What is the bank interest?
What is what?
Bank interest.
I don't know. Why is that important?
Just if I talk to someone and they ask me.
So you have one of these, right? It's the most amazing thing on the planet. You can literally go, hey Siri, what's the interest rate for mortgages today? And it popped up right there. Bankrate.com. And it wants me to sign up for something.
Oh.
So it has all the information right here. It's that fast. So one of the things I tell you is that when you're talking to people, you have to know your shit. You have to know your stuff because the world is going to produce news, which may or may not be news because news is entertainment, and it's going to push out all this information to the world. And it's your job to know what that information is and know what the real information is. Like when somebody goes, yeah, what's the interest rate? I'm like, it's about 6.5%. Do Do you know how that affects you if you're gonna buy a house? Like 100% of people are like, no. Okay, because it's not about the interest rate, it's about your payment. And like, you have to figure out how to have that conversation with people. So you have to utilize all the tools and get all the information that's out there, because the fear of talking to somebody probably is you don't know that answer. When somebody asks you, what's the interest rate today? What would your answer be?
6.2.
Because I just told you. So you have, so like every morning, no matter what I'm doing, there's a specific news thing that I listen to. Because I want to know what the current events are and what's going on and what are the buzzwords. And I look at certain real estate information things just because I want to know what's going on. So if someone asks me, I have an answer. And if I don't know, I'll be like, give me 1 second. Bam, bam, bam. Like, this is like, we're cyborgs with these. Like, literally, we just put it in our chest and like, we know everything. So, all right, let's wrap this up. Anybody have any questions before we shut it down? Let's play the last video. Get out of here.
You should, I don't know if last time you meant to share the sound, but you're not really sharing. When you share your screen, if you share the sound and then mute yourself, we won't hear the double sound.
So mute myself.
Well, mute the, yeah, because it was, at least
Did
for
you
me
hear the
anyway.
first one or no?
I heard it, but it was not because it was coming through Zoom, because I heard it through in the back, you know, on your microphone.
Got it. All right, let's see.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
You share.
You have to go to that, go to the more, and you have to share sound separately after you share.
Advance.
Oh, right here, it's a share sound.
There you go. Let's try that.
Thank you.
The biggest war you ever go through is right between your own ears. It's in your mind. The mind's a very powerful thing. It has a tactical advantage over you all the time. It knows where you don't want to go. So it will guide you away from that. And that's why the mind will always win. Until you fucking reprogram it. You gotta figure out a way to reprogram your mind to get outside the box. Whatever my mind said I don't want to do, I realized I must do that.
The greats do things when they don't always want to, and that's the separation.
Without discipline, you're nothing. And discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
Because really, the only person that you're fighting every day is yourself. It's not your boss. It's not this or that. Yeah, those are all obstacles. A lot of them you cannot control those obstacles, but you can control yourself. We have to regain control of our mind. How you gain mental toughness, how you become the person you want to be, is constantly facing the things that you don't want to face. The only way anything gets accomplished, you gotta work hard. I can't remember what the fuck's in this paragraph to pass this test to get in the military. Read it again. Still not getting it. Read it again. But if you're not getting it, write it out. And guess what happened? I got it. I can't swim. I'm negative buoyant. Go back again. I can't swim. Go back again. Go back again. Go back again. I got it. I realize if I keep going back and going back and going back, your mind will say, okay, we're gonna figure it out, because he is not going to stop. To find real, permanent peace, you first must go through suffering. You must go to the dark side of who you are.
Every day I demand more for myself than anybody else could possibly expect. I don't compete with other people, I compete with what I'm capable of.
A person that's obsessed and wants to just get there, they don't give a f what the temperature is. They no longer care, because they know no matter what's out there, no matter if it's snowing, if it's a damn tropical storm, if it's 20 below, they don't care. They're gonna run. It doesn't matter what the f***'s out there, what's in front of me. I'm just gonna go. And that's how you wanna get your mind.
You have to train your brain by doing things that make you uncomfortable consistently. To build this mindset that when things get hard, we don't shy away, we don't quit, we attack. I'm seeing through all those walls. I'm getting to where I wanna go.
You have to literally visualize the connection between what you're doing on a day-by-day basis with what you're wanting. What do you want yourself to look like 10 years from now? What do you want your bank account to look like? What do you want to look like physically 6 months from now or a year from now? You have to connect the dots. You have to remind yourself that these little things that you do are going to lead to the big things.
If you think that you've given everything, you really haven't. If you think you're working hard, you're not working hard enough.
You can always do more. You always have another gear, another level of performance. You can always push a little bit harder, get up a little earlier, work a little longer. Whatever it is you want more of, you have complete control over whether you get it or not.
People don't have limits. We put limits on ourselves.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.